Hello, YouTube community. Welcome to my Ignite Family Engagement YouTube channel. My name is Dr. Deborah Vereen, and I am a family engagement influencer. Be sure to show your support for family engagement initiatives by giving this particular video a thumbs up. Also, share the video with others and subscribe to my channel. Doing these things will really show your support for efforts to increase family engagement in education. It's really important that this happen in areas of education that struggle with family engagement. And these areas tend to include those environments that serve a high percentage of diverse students, such as those who are Black and Brown and from other racial groups, students who are economically challenged, enrolled in special education, who are English learners, and so much more. So please, again, show your support for family engagement by uh, giving this video a thumbs up and so on. I am here to focus on a different topic. Compared to my other videos, you would say it is different because it is connected very deeply to part of my mission to ignite family engagement and education. I am calling this video using Medium.com to build your brand. So if you've heard of Medium.com before, you know that it is a writing platform for individuals to share their ideas, share their perspective. Um, they respond to things that are going on in the world and so on. And it's a very robust uh, platform for writers. They use the platform for blogging. So, with that in mind, people all over the world are writers on Medium. Many writers belong to the Medium Partners Program. What that is a program where writers pay a nominal fee of $5 a month or $50 a year to earn money uh, through writing. So people who read their work, who are members, share in a fee to that is their monthly fee to um, give writers money. So there are a lot of writers who use YouTube to share their strategies for making money on Medium. And it's a wonderful thing for many people to be able to earn a living through writing, to be able to supplement their income through writing, and so on. And it's good that others share their wonderful ideas for doing so, but that's not the purpose of this video. My purpose is to talk about how I use Medium to leverage the work that I do in family engagement. For me, my specialized area, as you already know, is to ignite family engagement in education. That is my brand, family engagement and education. My niche or my target audience is very well defined. It includes parents and family members who take the lead in supporting their students' education and also for monitoring their education. My niche also includes educators, teachers, school administrators, school leaders, non-teaching professionals like guidance counselors, homeschool visitors, school psychologists. The list just goes on and on and on. And it also includes secretaries. The reason why all of these educators and school employees are used as members of my niche is because they need to be able to work with parents in a respectful manner, in a manner that fosters empathy, compassion, acceptance, and so on. The other individuals who are a part of my niche includes college and university students who are studying to become teachers and school administrators and other school personnel, uh, as well as their professors. The reason is quite simple. Many college programs fail to include parent and family engagement in a very robust manner. They may cover it, but because of the lack of rigor in this area at the college level, many educators simply go into the field of education blindly without a lot of guidance in terms of being able to foster positive interactions with parents so that they will in turn be actively engaged in their child's education. The other area of my niche refers to policymakers, educational policymakers, like Board of School Directors. These are the individuals that have to understand that family engagement is a critical function of education and it must be prioritized as such. The other thing that I want to mention about my target audience and my brand is that my name, Dr. Deborah M. Vereen, like I said, is my brand. I am working very hard to make people equate Dr. Deborah M. Vereen with the promotion of family engagement and education. That's why my website is simply www.drdeborahmvereen. It's because it's my brand. Now that you have information about my brand and my niche, I would like to talk about my writing and what Medium.com means to me professionally. As you know, I wrote the book Repair the Broken Pieces. I started writing the book 2 years before I took an early retirement. And my goal was to finish the book shortly after I retired in July 2017, which the book was finished and self published in September 2017. Now, here's something that you might find interesting, especially for those of you who are aspiring authors. I actually thought that when I published my book, that it would set me on a course of being known as an expert in family engagement. Now, the thing that I had to grow to realize is that there was much to learn with that whole publishing scenario. The reason is a person never really reaches that point of being such a notable expert when they publish a book. The process is a continuous process. So for me, building my brand, connecting with my niche or my target audience, and combining both of these things to establish sound marketing strategies has been a full-time job for me over the past 3.5 years. I have used my family engagement business, which is called Families with Us, to promote my work on my business Facebook platform, my personal Facebook platform, and some of the other social media platforms that I've used have been LinkedIn, um, Instagram. I'm really trying to improve with Instagram and Twitter. I also use my personal Facebook account to promote my work in family engagement as well. My website, as I mentioned before, Dr. Deborah and Vereen.com, is, I guess you could say, a receiving area where all of these platforms can be found. Um, that also includes this YouTube channel too. Another thing that I didn't mention is that I am an e-learning course provider. I was recently accepted as a continuing education provider through the Pennsylvania Department of Education. So with the course that I have, Pennsylvania educators and educators everywhere, educators globally, can sign up on my website to take my family engagement course that is connected to my book, Repair the Broken Pieces. So, with that in mind, I want you to realize that the other platform that has meant a lot to me professionally has been Medium.com. It's made a wonderful difference in the work that I've done. It has enabled me to build my credibility as an expert because I have been engaged in continuous research, continuous development, continuous learning in the area of family engagement. And again, it wasn't the book that brought me to this point. It's been all of the work that I've been doing since I published the book. Now, I would like to talk about some of the strategies that I've used and so on, but I hope you don't mind if I share a story that I like to share when I talk about my writing journey. So before I delve into medium.com a little more, I'd like to talk about my personal journey. And I will try not to get emotional or misty as I talk about this because this is a story that's very meaningful to me. Sadly, when I was in junior high school and in high school, um, teacher accountability was not a priority in education where I grew up. And I had some very wonderful teachers along the way. Teachers like my Spanish teacher and Latin teacher, Mrs. Metz, my physical education teacher, Mrs. Thornburg, and I'm so happy that I recently connected with Mrs. Thornburg once again on Facebook. Mrs. Shaner was a wonderful Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 teacher. Mr. Ingle and Mr. Lansbury were wonderful orchestra teachers. And I have such fond memories of teachers who I classify as great teachers. But sadly, I had some horrible teachers too. I'm not going to mention their names, but I want to focus on some English teachers that I had in junior high and high school. These teachers, again, were not very good. And one teacher in junior high school sadly bullied me. She bullied me. And she would not allow me into the scholars program. Her rationale was I was too quiet. She didn't feel that a quiet student had much to offer or much to gain from being in the accelerated program, even though my test scores affirmed that I should have been in that program. She would not allow me in the program. Then there was my 11th grade English teacher. The teacher spent the entire school year sitting at her desk. She would give us students vocabulary words. We would spend class time for days copying the words from the dictionary and listening to her give us verbatim what the words meant. To this day, I become so appalled when I think about a definition that she gave 11th graders, haughtily contemptuous. To this day, I think, what is the relevance of that definition to my life as an 11th grader? So sadly, that's how I spent my 11th grade year. In 12th grade, I had a teacher, once again, a terrible teacher, who could not control the class. I was a student in the class that smiled at her. I was nice to her. I was her friend. She viewed me as a friend. And I did not do a thing in the class. I knew I could get away with it. I had a job at a hospital as a tray girl in the evenings, and I didn't have a full class load because I had so many credits. So I just slipped by. I didn't do term paper like I was supposed to. I didn't do research papers like I was supposed to. But I got straight A's because I was the teacher's pet. So here's the touching part of my story, and the sad part too. When I went off to college, I had to enroll in a freshman composition class, just like all the other freshmen did. And because I did not have teachers who were responsible teachers, and these were the English teachers, I did not know how to write when I went to high or to college. Now, in high school, I managed to be in the honor society. I graduated in the upper percentage, maybe the top 10% of my class. I was noted for being a great student and so on. But when you compare that to the reality that when I went to college, I did not know how to formulate a paragraph that was cohesive. That's really, really sad. Thankfully, though, I had a freshman composition professor who worked with me and encouraged me in writing. She did that because she believed in me. She gave me feedback that was nurturing but constructive. She looked beyond my deficits and met me where I was. And because of that, she gave me the confidence to believe that I would be able to be a decent writer, not just to fulfill the requirement of her class, but just become a very good writer. Her name is Mrs. Defoe, Mrs. Jeannie Defoe. She would take me outside after the class. We would sit on a bench on the campus, and she taught me writing mechanics, the writing that my junior high and high school teachers should have taught me. She taught me when she worked with me individually. And she enabled me to not only get caught up to the place that I should have been as a writer in college, but she helped me to establish a firm foundation to help me become the writer that I am today. So again, um, I I am so grateful to Mrs. Jeannie Defoe. I had a chance several years ago to track her down and to write her a letter to thank her for what she did for me. You know, there are so many teachers who are like Miss Defoe that we as former students can look back on and be thankful for. So because of Mrs. Defoe, I can talk to you about Medium.com because I am a very good writer now. Again, thank you, Mrs. Defoe. Now, I discovered the Medium platform in April of 2019. I was really attracted to the idea of sharing my perspective about family engagement in a manner that allowed me to speak my truth. There has been something very liberating for me as it relates to not being tied to a school district, a school, a university. I have been able to speak truth through my writing. Sadly, when individuals are connected to organizations, You have to tread lightly because you don't want to offend, you don't want to break policy, and so on. That could cost a person their job, their livelihood, opportunities for advancement, and so on. So, because I have my own business, Families with Us, and work independently, I have been able to speak and write truth as it relates to family engagement in education. There are things about parents participating, parents being actively involved, educators taking the lead in fostering positive relationships with parents, and so on. All these things are connected to family engagement. There are some things that have to be said that aren't typically said. I have opportunities through writing to not just speak truth, but to give parents strategies, give educators strategies to expose some harsh realities based on the things that parents need to change and based on the things that schools, school district boards, and so on need to change. So I have had an opportunity, thankfully, to be a writer on Medium. And being a writer on Medium also means that I have published hundreds of stories. Most of them are connected to family engagement and education, but sometimes I have to respond to things that go on in society, things related to social justice, things that intersect family engagement and educational topics. These are the things that I write about, but mostly family engagement and promoting family engagement in education. Because I write for, I'd say, at least 15 different publications connected to Medium.com, I've been able to, my reach has been very great. Being able to publish on different publications has amplified my voice. And I am glad that I've had a chance um, to share to a diversified, a varied group of readers. Now, over the past few months, I have been a writer on a publication that I absolutely love. It is Illuminations Curated. I consider it to be the publication that I am most comfortable writing on and submitting stories to. It feels like home to me. So most of my articles are on the or in the publication Illuminations Curated. There have been many benefits to writing on Medium.com. I follow over 1,000 writers, but over 7,200 readers follow me. So I form literary partnerships with them. By that I mean I form a relationship with them. I love their perspective. They are drawn to my perspective. We comment on each other's work, we read each other's work, and that's what relationship building is all about. So, being a medium writer has enabled me to, and I mentioned this before, and this is a benefit, it has enabled me to engage in research related to my brand so that the perspective that I share is relevant and related to what's going on in education in the world. So I have a huge collection of articles, and I simply refer to them as my virtual library. These articles, again, are targeted to my target audience, my niche, parents, teachers, educators, board of school directors, and the virtual library is very extensive. Another great benefit to being a medium writer is that my credibility has really increased. More so than writing and publishing a book, having articles that are so relevant to various topics that I can refer educators to, school districts to, individuals who are looking for answers. I could say, I have an article that I published. I have a story. Here's the link to the story. Just having a chance for individuals to realize that while I am a writer, I am knowledgeable and I am well connected to my brand, well connected to my niche. Again, that's made a difference. Another thing is I am able to help other people. And it's wonderful. It's a wonderful thing to go on different search engines and to find the articles, the stories, the perspectives that I have shared to a lot of different people. And it's a wonderful thing that I am able to share through writing. So I could go on and on talking about the benefits to writing on Medium, but for me personally, it's been very, very rewarding to tie my work as a family engagement influencer into the work that I do as a writer. So, as I've mentioned before, I work very hard at what I do. In fact, my work involves solving a problem that impacts many, many schools, educators, parents. The problem is low family engagement. So being a family engagement influencer has helped me to make a difference in the area of family engagement, parent involvement, parent participation. And the difference that I strive to make is to help those areas that need the help the most. Like I said before, it tends to be the areas where there's a high population of diverse students and parents. While I use my YouTube channel, my website, my book, and my other social media platforms to advance my work, Medium.com has really been impactful for me. So if you want to read my stories on Medium.com, you can go to my profile, which is D Maurice V. That's DMAURICE V.medium.com. I will have a link to that on or in the description segment of the video, so you'll have a chance to find it. The other thing that I want to say is you can also access my stories by going to my website because I have links to not just this YouTube channel, not just my other social media platforms, but also I have a link that will take you directly to medium.com. I really appreciated the time that you have spent watching this video. Thank you for joining me today. And whether you are curious about family engagement, whether you're trying to learn more about family engagement, or whether you wholeheartedly support and endorse everything that I represent as it relates to igniting family engagement in education, your presence today will make that possible. Another way to make it possible is subscribing to this channel, liking this video by giving it a thumbs up, and also sharing this video and other videos with other individuals. So again, thank you for watching. And as I always close, goodbye for now.